Donald Trump, Republican presidential candidate, is really firing people up. Yesterday, I told you about him showing up at the Republican Jewish whatever, some kind of Jewish Republican event, and kind of goofing on a whole bunch of anti-Semitic stereotypes about Jews. Now Donald Trump is saying ban all travel by Muslims to the United States, and his supporters love it. Donald Trump called yesterday for banning all Muslims from entering the United States. A statement released by his campaign said, quote, Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States until our country's representatives can figure out what is going on. If I've never heard vaguer language, incredible. Donald Trump, who has previously called for surveillance against mosques, he said he was open to establishing a database to track Muslims, is now saying we've got to keep any Muslim visitors out of the U.S. until we can, quote, figure out what is going on. Obviously insane. I mean, this is the suggestion of a madman, but his proposal was met with enthusiasm by many of his harebrained supporters, the low information voters, who showed their approval via social media, as well as at a rally last night. So we have the comments from the peanut gallery. Sit back and enjoy. Here's the first video and audio from CNN. You'll notice in most of these videos, the crowd in the background is mostly white men. I don't think that will come as a surprise to many of you. Let's go to clip number one, Lewis, if we may, from CNN.
Donald Trump is now saying Muslims should not be allowed to enter this country until the U.S. figures out what's going on. Do you agree with that?
Yes, I do. Why? I don't want them here. Who knows what they're going to bring into this country? What, bombs? ISIS? What?
Get
they
them
need
out.
to go.
Yeah. Here's another couple of political analysts, and I use that term incredibly loosely. This is video from MSNBC. Brace yourselves.
In two different wars, both Iraq and Afghanistan. And I've had too many brothers and sisters lost over there in those two wars,
right,
to just let them come here free range in our country now. It's a kick in the face to every veteran there is that's fought in those wars.
Amen.
To us trying to protect our homeland from them coming in, and then the current administration letting them in. So I say ship them all back.
Get them out.
Seriously.
And he's saying don't let any more come in.
Don't let any more come in. Ship
Keep
them all
them
back.
Okay. And are you here as a Trump supporter?
I am.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So if the election were tomorrow, you'd vote for him?
I would.
Is there anything that would change that?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Okay. It's a good idea with everything that's going on in the world right now.
Yeah.
It sounds harsh, but reality's reality.
So this would make you more likely to support him or less likely to support him?
More.
Yeah. I hope someone is following Donald Trump around with a camera. I mean, this campaign could make for one of the greatest political documentaries of all time. And it would be indistinguishable, Lewis, from a satirical documentary, a mockumentary of a presidential campaign. You would not be able to tell them apart.
Well, this is fascinating because it's been a while since we had well, I guess what you could call a mainstream candidate that has support and has a chance. Who actually embraces the racism and the xenophobia, you know? You couldn't really do that before, or maybe you could. Maybe people were just afraid of doing it.
This idea from Trump is so crazy that even Dick Cheney says it's out of control. Take a listen to Dick Cheney on the Hugh Hewitt program. It's too nuts for Cheney to get behind.
I think this whole notion that somehow we can just say no more Muslims, just ban a whole religion, goes against everything we stand for and believe in. I mean, religious freedom's been a very important part of our history and where we came from. A lot of people here, my ancestors got here because they were Puritans. There wasn't anybody here then when they came. But it's a mistaken notion. It's a serious problem. This refugee problem is. It's a serious problem to make certain that the people coming in don't represent ISIS. You've got to set up a vetting process.
Yeah. This is like Al-Qaeda saying ISIS is just going too far. Yes, yes, yes. Death to America and establish all, kill the apostates and all that. But beheadings? No, that's a little too much. And I know that's not a good example because Al-Qaeda has done numerous beheadings. This idea is too crazy for Dick Cheney to get behind. And the best part is the titillation people are having over freedom when it comes to guns, the Constitution, liberty, blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah, we're going to force people of a certain religion to stay out of the country. All of a sudden, freedom doesn't matter.
I like Cheney's answer think that's the first time I've ever said that about anything he said. He's right. It's about religious freedom, and this is still a guy who presumably wants them all to be spied on in the name of national security or what have you. But at least he is, level-headed enough to understand that, it's a small portion of Islam that is as radical as ISIS. So, words of wisdom from Dick Cheney. Who knew?
Yeah, when Dick Cheney is the voice of reason, you know your campaign has gone off the rails. Let's remember that bit of comparison, how relative things can be.